Why is ReactJS so popular? That's what we're talking about today in this video. So let's get into it. Now, many years ago, ReactJS didn't exist. We used to just have JS, right? And then we got jQuery. And then later we got, oh gosh, what was it called? I think it was like Backbone. And really what was happening is there was ever more complexity showing up inside of JavaScript, right? I mean, early JavaScript was just like, you know, the most basic of things inside the web browser. jQuery was like, hey, you can like mess with the HTML and do really funky stuff with it. And that was cool. And then Backbone was like, hey, now that we've got AJAX requests, now that we're sending data back and forth, we probably can move more of the logic forward into the browser and not have so much server side. Backbone JS was a mess. And when I say Backbone JS, I'm also talking about like early Angular. There was a thing called Knockout JS. There was a few other early attempts at basically making your, you know, your app live inside of the browser, and it, as opposed to before, your app lived on the server. And so as things moved, as this moved over here, the Java, like all the complexity came with it. And all of this led us eventually to React. Like it was trying to solve a lot of the same stuff that we're solving here. And it also, you know, got rid of the need for a lot of the jQuery a lot of the times too. Because again, a lot of what you were trying to do with jQuery and Backbone was create a more dynamic user experience. So there are three things that made ReactJS so popular, and they're kind of sequential. One is social proof. Two is timing. And three is popularity. So let's start over here with social proof. ReactJS was started by Facebook. It wasn't started by Brian. It wasn't started by some rando on the internet. It was started by Facebook. When Facebook launched ReactJS, people listened because they went, oh man, this has got Facebook behind it. That's a big deal. We need to check it out. If Facebook puts it out, people care. So that kind of got the ball rolling, right? But then here's number two, timing. Now let's go back over here. Look at this. We're at JS, we're at jQuery. So we're kind of in this messy bit. And way back when companies were moving to Backbone and other related technologies, I happened to be working at one, and they had spent like a year or two on this Backbone app, and it was a mess. And I don't mean it was a mess in a bad way. I mean like it was this big monstrosity of JavaScript code. If you look over here and you look over here, this is relative, like this is the most simple. JavaScript is the most simple. jQuery, less simple, but still probably like one or two JavaScript files, fewer than 1,000 lines of code usually. This is like tens or considerably more complicated, and that is troublesome. So React basically managed to be at the right place at the right time, and it was solving for single page web apps, SPA. It was solving for that at the right time, and that was incredibly powerful because not only had Facebook put it out, but then it was put out at the right time. If Facebook had put it out 7 years earlier or 10 years later, no one would care. But at the time, big deal, right technology, good timing, that helps a lot. So then it becomes even more popular. So if we were to kind of, draw this out, you got kind of the first wave is Facebook. And then it's kind of growing in popularity, and then the timing helps it. So then you see even more people adopting it because of timing. And then that leads us over here to the third reason, which is maybe the most important reason of all, which is it is popular because it is popular. We're just going to go off the screen. And here's the deal. When something becomes a standard or it becomes really popular, inevitably people will use it because it saves them time and energy having to think about it. So right now, if you wanted to go do a single page web app, you're probably going to reuse ReactJS because other people use it. And there's huge benefits from an ecosystem standpoint and a platform standpoint of it being kind of a standard. There's just a tremendous amount of code that's already been written. There's problems that's already been solved, and a lot of the hard work has already been done in the ReactJS space. And so while it's growing in complexity and probably messiness, it sort of doesn't matter because so many people are already using it that when other people say, oh man, we should do a single page web app because everyone else is doing one, popularity breeds popularity. Which one are we going to use? We'll probably end up using the most popular one because it's got the best documentation. It's got the best community. It's got a lot of these things that we want. So in the end, the popularity adds to the popularity. So it's like Facebook and then good timing, and then once it was popular, like once it's here, the popularity takes off. And that's really why now you see ReactJS being used kind of everywhere and by everyone, is that it's so popular that then you can like hire for ReactJS developers and you'll find some. Those are my big reasons of why ReactJS is so popular. That's kind of the cycle of how anything gets popular. Hope you enjoyed this video and have an awesome day.